It started as a whisper, a single message, carried on every channel across the galaxy. No name, no location, only a trembling voice, cracked with fear. Do not provoke the humans. It's already too late. Then silence. Not a word more. Across star systems, people froze. Miners deep inside asteroid tunnels stopped their drills. Traders in glowing space markets stared at their radios. Pilots flying through the dark stopped speaking mid-sentence. The galaxy had heard many warnings before. Pirates, rebels, warlords, but this one felt different. The voice didn't threaten. It didn't demand. It sounded broken, like someone who had seen something so terrible, so unstoppable, that even speaking about it drained all hope from his soul. Within hours, the message reached the Galactic High Council, the most powerful rulers of known space. They commanded fleets, armies, and entire planets. Their council chamber was a shining ring of metal and crystal floating among the stars, a place where no one raised their voice because power itself spoke through calm orders. But now, calm was gone. Council members argued loudly, fear creeping into every word. Where did the message come from? One demanded. Its body covered in scales that glimmered like wet stone. Unknown, replied a sharp-voiced officer through a trembling hologram. The signal echoes from the outer systems. The source vanished. Another leader, a tall alien with silver eyes, leaned forward. Was it human? No, the officer said quickly. The accent, the tone. It belongs to the Vora. The entire chamber fell silent. Even the air seemed to stop moving. The Vora were older than the council itself. A reclusive, ancient species living in the dark edges of the galaxy. They rarely spoke to anyone. For centuries, they stayed away from politics, wars, even trade. For the Vora to speak, to warn, meant something terrible had happened. Something beyond imagination. The council leader, a creature with 4 glowing eyes, finally spoke, his voice slow but heavy with tension. Send scouts, he ordered. Find the Vora. Find the truth. Across the galaxy, dozens of scout ships launched. Small, fast, armed with sensors instead of weapons. They flew into the cold outer dark, where stars were few and shadows ruled. Days passed. Then one scout returned. Its captain's voice shook as the message reached the council. We found the fleet, he said. The Vora fleet. The chamber held its breath. Destroyed, the captain whispered. Images filled the council screens. Gigantic Vora warships drifted silently, ripped apart like paper toys. Some had broken in half. Others floated in pieces, burning slowly, their fires eating metal while cold space swallowed the smoke. No life signs, no survivors. An entire fleet gone. The captain's face appeared on the screen. His skin looked pale even under the ship's lights. We found one escape pod, he said. Inside, the Vora who sent the warning. He lived only minutes after rescue. Before he died, he kept repeating the same thing. The officer swallowed hard. Do not provoke the humans. It's already too late. Then the screen went black. The council chamber erupted. Impossible! One leader shouted, its tentacles curling in panic. Humans cannot do this. They are young, barely 2 centuries in space. They have nothing compared to us. Another agreed. We have fleets, weapons, planets. They have Earth. But not everyone shouted. Some leaders sat in silence, staring at the burning wreckage on the screen. Because there was one question none of them wanted to ask. If not the humans, then who? Or worse, if it was the humans, how? Back on Earth, life continued as normal. Children went to school. Farmers planted crops. Engineers built ships. Soldiers trained inside bases hidden from satellites. Humans said nothing to the galaxy. No messages. No explanations. They waited. And silence can be more frightening than threats. The council leader slammed his clawed hand on the table. Send envoys to Earth, he commanded. We demand answers. Now. But even as he spoke, some leaders shook their heads. Did you not hear the warning? One whispered. Do not provoke them. What if we already have? Far away, beyond the stars, deep in cold space, something moved. Something the council didn't see. Something the Vora saw too late. The council chamber had seen wars begin and end. It had seen kings beg for mercy and generals demand blood. It had heard the screams of planets before they burned. But never silence like this. The wreckage of the Vora fleet still burned on the giant screens. Pieces of warships, once proud and shining, now floated as dead metal across space. The council leaders stared, their faces lit by the faint glow of fires burning in the dark. And the warning, those words, "Do not provoke the humans. It's already too late." The voice echoed in every mind like a ghost refusing to leave. Finally, the council leader broke the silence. He was old, his 4 glowing eyes staring down at the table before him. "We need answers," he said, his voice heavy. "We must decide what to do about Earth." The room erupted. One leader, tall and covered in golden feathers, slammed a wing on the table. "This is madness," it shouted. "Humans are nothing. A young race, 2 centuries in space, barely crawling out of their system. They cannot destroy a Vora fleet. Impossible." Another, its body made of shifting blue light, replied sharply. "Then who did this?" "The Vora were powerful. Someone killed them. Someone sent the warning." "Are you saying it was—" "No one." The golden-feathered leader spread its wings in frustration. "It could be pirates, rebels, rogue machines. The humans are being blamed because they are convenient." A third voice, deep and rumbling, shook the chamber. It came from a creature with gray skin as hard as stone. "Convenient?" it growled. "Look at the humans. For years they have been silent. They joined no wars. They built no empire. Yet they keep growing stronger. No one knows what weapons they have. No one knows how many fleets they built. No one knows anything." The words hung in the air like smoke. Because it was true. Humans talked little with the galaxy. They traded a bit, signed a few treaties, but mostly stayed on their blue and green planet, building quietly. Too quietly. One leader, thin and insect-like, tapped its claws nervously. "Perhaps we should speak with them. Ask for their side." "Ask?" The golden-feathered leader snapped. "The Vora warned us not to provoke them. If humans did this, do you want to invite war by accusing them?" Another voice cut through the noise, calm but sharp. It belonged to a creature with silver skin and black eyes. "War?" it asked softly. "If humans destroyed the Vora fleet, what kind of war do you think you will have?" The chamber went silent again, because the images on the screen told their own story. The Vora fleet was not weak. It had crushed rebellions, burned entire planets, won battles across centuries. Its ships carried weapons the galaxy feared. Now those same ships floated in pieces. And humans had said nothing. No threats, no excuses, only silence. The council leader raised a hand. The voices stopped. "We have 3 choices," he said slowly. 1. Send fleets to Earth. Show strength. 2. Demand answers through diplomacy. 3. Stay silent. And wait. The chamber exploded again. "Send fleets," shouted some. "Are you mad?" shouted others. What if the warning was real? Voices overlapped, growing louder, faster, angrier. "Humans will fear our power if we surround them with ships, or they will see it as provocation and finish what they started. They are young. They cannot fight the council. They destroyed the Vora." The debate raged for hours. No side won. Fear spread like cracks in glass. Because deep down, none of them understood humans. A race so new, so small, yet so calm. If humans had this power, why hadn't they used it before? Why now? At last, a message arrived from one of the scout ships near Earth. The captain's voice was quiet, almost afraid. "We saw something," he said. The chamber froze. "Something?" the council leader asked. "What?" The captain swallowed hard. "Ships," he said finally. "Huge ships, black as night. No lights, no signals, just waiting near Earth's orbit. We scanned them. The systems couldn't measure their size. It was like looking at shadows that swallowed the stars. Whispers filled the chamber. "How many?" someone asked. The captain's answer was almost a whisper. "We don't know. They didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even lock weapons on us." It felt like they were watching. The golden-feathered leader spoke again, its voice trembling now. "Are they human ships?" Silence. The captain nodded slowly. "We think so, but we have no record of humans building anything like this." The message ended. The council chamber stayed quiet for a long time, because everyone understood one thing now. If those ships belonged to humans, the galaxy had no idea what Earth was hiding. And maybe the warning had come too late. The scout ship drifted silently near the edge of Earth's orbit. Its crew spoke in whispers, afraid even inside their own ship. Outside the windows, the planet looked peaceful. A blue and green world with white clouds spinning slowly. Cities glowed faintly under the night side. Oceans shimmered under the sun. But no one was looking at the planet. They were looking at the shadows. The ships. They hung in space like pieces of the night itself. Massive, black, silent. No lights, no movement, no radio signals. Just there, watching. The scout captain sat frozen in his seat. He had seen war fleets before, thousands of them, but never ships like this. His sensors couldn't read their size. It was as if the machines themselves refused to measure them. Some of the crew swore the ships were moving, changing shape when no one looked directly at them. Others said they were just tricks of the light. But everyone agreed on one thing. They felt alive. The captain sent a quiet report back to the Galactic Council. The answer came fast. "Do not engage. Do not provoke. Watch only." But it was clear the council was panicking. For days, more scout ships arrived, keeping a safe distance. The shadows didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even point weapons. It was like Earth itself was daring the galaxy to make the first mistake. On the council's homeworld, leaders met again. The images of those black ships played on giant screens. Some leaders demanded war. Others demanded peace. No one agreed. "They are only ships," one leader said, voice shaking. "We have more. We have bigger fleets. If they threaten us, we crush them." "Bigger?" another snapped. "You saw the scans. These things, they swallow light. They block sensors. What kind of technology does that?" A third voice whispered, "Maybe it's not technology at all." The room went silent at that, because in the images, the ships didn't look like machines. They looked like beasts, black, silent, sleeping in the void, and no one wanted to wake them. Far away on Earth, humans carried on as if nothing was happening. No government spoke to the galaxy. No soldier gave interviews. No scientist explained anything. Factories near the equator glowed at night, building things too big to see clearly from orbit. Sometimes, scout ships caught glimpses of massive engines being moved across deserts. Sometimes, entire mountains seemed to open like doors before closing again. But no one got close enough to see, because every time a scout ship flew too near, one of the black shadows would move. Just a little, just enough to remind them, "You are being watched." The Galactic Council demanded answers. They sent messages to Earth. "Explain the ships. Tell us what happened to the Vora fleet. We want peace, but we need the truth." No reply came. The humans stayed silent. Every planet in the galaxy waited for Earth to speak. News channels ran the same story over and over. Who destroyed the Vora? What are the humans hiding? Is war coming? Markets crashed. Border worlds began building bunkers. Some species even started evacuating civilians from planets near human space. Fear spread like fire in dry grass. Then one day, a single human ship left Earth's orbit. It was small, unarmed, slow, carried a message for the council. Everyone expected threats, demands, maybe even an admission of war. But the message was only one sentence. The humans have nothing to explain. Nothing else. No answers. No warnings. Just those words. The council went into chaos again. "They are mocking us," one leader shouted. They are hiding something, another cried. But the oldest leader in the chamber, a creature older than most planets, spoke softly. Or maybe they think explanations do not matter anymore. Those words sank into everyone's mind, because the Vora had tried to fight, and the Vora were gone. Back near Earth, the scout captain kept watching the black ships. One night, when the planet's shadow covered them in darkness, he swore he saw lights moving deep inside one of the ships. Not like normal lights, not like cities or engines, more like stars. A whole night sky hidden inside a single ship. The captain didn't report it, because deep down he didn't want to know what it meant. In the council chamber, one question finally broke through all the shouting. What if the humans were not building these ships? What if they had always been here, sleeping, waiting, and someone, maybe the Vora, had woken them up? No one wanted to say the last part out loud, but everyone thought it. If the humans controlled these things, then the galaxy might already belong to Earth. The Vora had always been proud. For thousands of years, their fleets had ruled the edge of the galaxy. They crushed rebellions, ended wars, and made entire planets kneel. No one challenged them. No one dared. Until now. Because now the Vora were gone. Their last fleet, a fleet so big it could darken the stars, floated in ruins. Shattered ships drifted through cold space, broken like toys smashed by some giant hand. And still, no one knew who destroyed them. The Galactic Council demanded answers. They sent search teams to the wreckage. Thousands of drones scanned every broken ship, every piece of burned metal, every drifting body. At first, the investigators thought the Vora had fought each other. Maybe a rebellion, maybe betrayal. But the evidence told a different story. The wounds on the ships, they were not from weapons the Council knew. Not lasers, not plasma, not missiles. Something had cut through the Vora ships like they were made of paper. Clean cuts, precise, silent, like a surgeon, not a soldier. One drone found the Vora flagship, split in half like a fruit under a knife. Inside, the bodies of Vora soldiers floated in frozen silence. They had died too quickly to even send distress signals. Some were still in their seats. Some held weapons they never got to fire. On the main deck, the commander's last message blinked on a cracked screen. It was only 4 words. We fired first. Mistake. Then nothing. When the report reached the council chamber, the room exploded with noise. They attacked first? One leader shouted. The Vora fired on someone? On what? Another demanded. Who were they fighting? The investigators gave only one answer. The attackers never sent a message, never spoke, never showed themselves. The council went silent, because that meant one thing. Whoever destroyed the Vora didn't even consider the Vora worth talking to. On border worlds, rumors spread like disease. Some said the humans had finally shown their true strength. Others said it wasn't humans at all, but something humans had woken up. People pointed at the black ships near Earth and whispered, were they human weapons? Or were they something older? Something waiting for centuries beneath Earth's oceans, deserts, and mountains, until someone disturbed their sleep. A second report arrived from a surviving Vora escape pod. The pilot had lived long enough to record a few broken sentences. His voice trembled with fear. They came from the dark. No warning. No signals. Just light and death. Ships like shadows, moving too fast, too strong. We fired. Nothing stopped them. Then silence, only silence. The recording ended with the same words the whole galaxy had already heard. Do not provoke the humans. It's already too late. Then static. The council was in chaos again. Some leaders demanded war fleets be sent to Earth immediately. Humans are behind this, they shouted. Who else could it be? The Vora attacked and the humans answered. If we do nothing, they will rise against all of us. But others argued for caution. You saw the wreckage, they said. The Vora were strong, and they were erased. If it was humans, attacking them now would be suicide. And then one question silenced everyone. If it wasn't humans, then what have they unleashed? Meanwhile, the black ships near Earth finally moved. For the first time since the scouts saw them, the massive shapes turned slowly in space. Not toward Earth. Toward the Council fleets watching from a distance. No weapons powered up. No signals were sent. But every scout pilot felt the same thing in their bones. A warning. One wrong move, and they would join the Vora in the cold grave of space. Back in the council chamber, a scientist presented his final report. He showed images of the wreckage, the melted metal, the clean cuts through armor thicker than mountains. This was not done by weapons we know, he said quietly. Not lasers, not missiles, not even experimental superweapons. The council leader asked the question everyone feared. Then what was it? The scientist hesitated before answering. We think it was a fleet, but not made by any race in our records. Something older, something hidden, something waiting. The chamber froze, because deep down everyone was thinking the same thing. If Earth controlled this fleet, the galaxy was already lost. On the border planets, people began fleeing their homes. Markets crashed again. Armies fortified their bases. Every species looked toward the small blue planet at the center of it all. Earth, the quiet world that spoke no threats. The world that maybe didn't need to, because if the Black Fleet truly belonged to the humans, then words no longer mattered. For weeks, the galaxy had waited for Earth to speak. Planets lived in fear. Armies prepared for war. Traders whispered in markets. Whole species packed their belongings, ready to run if the humans turned their eyes toward them. But Earth said nothing, not one word, until now. It began with a single ship leaving Earth's orbit. Small, unarmed, painted white. No one knew what it carried. Council warships followed it at a distance, afraid to get too close. The black shadows, those massive, silent ships near Earth, didn't move. The small ship docked at a Council space station orbiting a neutral star. Inside, humans finally appeared. Only 3 of them. No soldiers. No politicians. Just 3 ordinary-looking humans in simple clothes. The Council leaders stared at them in confusion. These were the people who might command the Black Fleet? These were the ones behind the Vora's destruction? It made no sense. The oldest Council leader spoke first. You have brought fear to the entire galaxy, he said coldly. You will explain your weapons. You will tell us what happened to the Vora fleet. The 3 humans looked at one another. Then the tallest one stepped forward. He spoke in a calm voice, without anger or pride. The Vora attacked us, he said simply. They fired first. We ended it. The council chamber erupted in noise. You admit it? One leader shouted. You destroyed them? Another demanded. The human looked at the shouting aliens like someone watching children argue. They made war, he said. We ended it. That was all. The golden-feathered leader slammed its wings on the table. You think you can kill fleets and say nothing else? It cried. What are those ships near your planet? Are they yours? Are they human? The human paused before answering. They are ours to command, he said finally. The chamber went silent. Ours to command. Not ours to build. Not ours to own. Ours to command. The words sank like stones into water. Another leader, trembling, asked, Where did they come from? What are they? The human looked at him for a long time before speaking again. They were here before us, he said quietly. Buried. Sleeping. We found them. The chamber froze. Before humans? Before the council? Before everything? The thought made even the bravest leaders feel cold inside. The oldest council leader tried to keep control. You will turn these ships over to the council, he ordered. For the safety of the galaxy. One of the other humans smiled faintly. Safety? She asked. When the Vora burned our colonies. When they sent fleets to kill our people. Where was your safety then? No one answered, because everyone knew the truth. The council had watched when the Vora attacked human border worlds. They had done nothing. Humans were small, weak, not worth protecting. At least that's what everyone thought. until the sky above those border worlds filled with black ships that no one knew existed. And the Vora fleet died screaming. The tallest human finally spoke again. "We don't want war," he said. "But we will not kneel. Not to the Vora. Not to you. Not to anyone." His voice never rose, never shook. But the silence that followed was louder than any shout. On distant planets, people watched the Council's broadcast in shock. The humans stood there, calm, unafraid, while the most powerful leaders in the galaxy shouted at them. Felt wrong, like the roles had reversed, like the Council was no longer in control. The Council leader demanded answers one last time. "How many of these black ships do you command?" he asked. The human looked at him for a long moment. "Enough," he said. "Enough for what?" The human's reply was simple. "Enough to end any war you start." That night, the galaxy erupted. Some species called for peace with Earth. Others called for war before it was too late. But deep down, everyone felt the same fear. The humans hadn't shown the full strength of the Black Fleet. Maybe they hadn't even needed to. The Vora fleet was gone. And humanity had only spoken one sentence that everyone would remember forever. "We ended it." On the border of human space, the black ships began to move again. Not toward the Council. Not toward any planet. Just slowly spreading out, like shadows covering the stars. Watching. Waiting. And the galaxy understood one thing at last. The humans didn't need to threaten anyone. The black ships were the threat. Silent. Endless. Patient. And maybe unstoppable. The galaxy had many questions. But only one mattered now. Where did the Black Fleet come from? For weeks, the Council sent spies, drones, and secret agents to learn the truth. They searched human colonies. They hacked satellites. They even tried to bribe traders near Earth's borders. No one found anything. It was like the black ships had appeared from nowhere. But that wasn't the truth. The truth was older, darker, and it was about to be revealed. On a cold moon orbiting a dying star, an old library ship drifted in silence. It was older than the Council itself. Few remembered it even existed. One day, a signal came from that forgotten ship. A signal carrying fragments of records buried for centuries. The message reached the Council. And when they read it, many wished they hadn't. The records told a story so old it felt like a myth. Long before the Council, before the Vora, before even the first empires, there had been something else. A civilization the galaxy had no name for. They had built machines, weapons, and fleets so powerful that no enemy could fight them. Then one day, they vanished. No one knew why. No one knew how. Only their creations remained. Waiting. Sleeping across dead worlds. Hidden under oceans. Buried inside mountains. The Black Fleet was one of those creations. The Council leaders read in silence as the records revealed more. When humans began exploring space, they found ruins on dead moons, in asteroid caves under frozen seas. At first, humans thought they were just ancient relics. Until one day, a research team on a lonely planet uncovered something bigger than anything they had ever seen. A black ship, dormant, intact, sleeping under miles of ice. And when the humans touched it, it woke up. Not slowly, all at once. The records described what happened next. The ship accepted human commands. It gave no explanation, asked no questions, simply obeyed. And then, it called the others. From oceans, from deserts, from places no one even knew existed. One by one, the black ships rose from hiding and gathered around Earth like children returning home. And humanity became their master. Back in the Council chamber, leaders stared at the ancient records with growing fear. "This fleet is not human," one whispered. Another leader shook his head slowly. "But humans control it. That is worse." The oldest leader spoke at last, his voice heavy. "If this fleet belongs to them now, nothing can stop them." On border planets, rumors spread faster than light. People said the black ships had minds of their own. Some claimed they had seen them move without any crew. Others swore the ships spoke to each other in languages no one could hear. Children on distant colonies began drawing pictures of the ships like monsters from bedtime stories. Monsters older than the stars. Meanwhile, humanity stayed silent. No threats. No promises. They simply let the Black Fleet hover in the dark like wolves among sheep. The Vora had attacked first. And the Vora were gone. Now the rest of the galaxy wondered, if humans gave the order, would the fleet wake fully? And if it did, would anything survive? One day, a spy ship tried to approach one of the black ships near Earth. The pilot claimed he only wanted a closer look. He never came back. His last message was only 3 words. They see me. Then static. When rescue ships arrived, there was nothing left. No ship. No pilot. No signal. Just empty space. The council met again in secret. Some leaders demanded humanity be stopped before it was too late. But others looked at the wreckage of the Vora fleet and said nothing. Because everyone knew the truth now. The humans didn't build the Black Fleet. They didn't need to. They had found something the galaxy had forgotten. Something older than fear itself. And now it belonged to them. On Earth, human leaders met in underground rooms, far from cameras and satellites. They spoke little, because they didn't need to say much. The Black Fleet obeyed them. And one order could change the galaxy forever. For the first time in centuries, the Council realized something terrifying. They were no longer the most powerful force in the universe. The balance had shifted, and it would never shift back. For days, the galaxy waited. Waited for the humans to speak. Waited for the Black Fleet to move. Waited for war or mercy. No one knew which would come first. The black ships stayed near Earth, silent as always. Some drifted through space like shadows. Others hovered over human cities so high in the sky they looked like black stars. The Council sent messages every day. They begged for meetings. They promised peace. They offered treaties, wealth, power, anything. But the humans said nothing. The silence was worse than threats. Because silence meant control. On border worlds, panic spread like fire. Civilians packed into ships, fleeing planets closest to human space. Markets collapsed. Armies fortified their defenses even though everyone knew defenses meant nothing now. The Vora had been stronger, and they were gone. Finally, the humans sent a message. Not long, not loud. Just calm words broadcast across every system. We do not want your worlds. We do not want your wealth. We only want peace. But if you come for us again, there will be nothing left to save. Then silence returned. The council gathered for one last emergency meeting. For hours, the leaders argued in circles. We must destroy the fleet before it's too late, one shouted. With what? Another snapped. The Vora tried. You saw the result. They want peace, a third said softly. Give it to them, or we will all burn. The oldest council leader finally stood. His 4 glowing eyes swept across the chamber. We ruled the galaxy for centuries, he said slowly. But power changes hands. It always does. Perhaps this is the end of our rule. No one spoke after that, because deep down they all knew he was right. A week later, every planet in the galaxy watched as the council sent its final message to Earth. Not threats, not demands, but surrender. They called it a peace treaty. But everyone knew the truth. The council was kneeling. The treaty promised no fleet would ever enter human space again. No warships, no spies, no secret attacks like the Vora's invasion. In return, the humans gave only one promise. We will not conquer, they said, unless you force us to. For many, it felt like peace. But some knew better. Because peace given through fear is never real peace. It is waiting for the next mistake. The Black Fleet began spreading out across the stars. Not attacking, not invading, just watching. Some ships stayed near Earth. Others disappeared into deep space where no one could follow. Some said they were guarding human colonies. Others said they were hunting something even worse than the Vora. But no one knew for sure, because the ships didn't speak. On a rainy night in the council capital, the oldest leader stood at a window, staring at the sky. Once, he had believed the galaxy belonged to his people. that the council would rule forever. Now, above the clouds, he could see one of the black ships drifting silently. It had no lights, no markings, but he felt its presence like a weight on his chest. Watching, waiting, judging. Across the galaxy, people began calling them by a new name. Not humans, not soldiers, not conquerors. They called them the Silent Masters, because they had not shouted. They had not demanded. They had simply acted, and no one could stop them. On Earth, life went on. Children played under skies where black ships floated like dark moons. Farmers planted crops while weapons older than history slept beneath their feet. Humanity didn't celebrate victory. They didn't raise flags or hold parades, because for them this wasn't victory. It was survival, and survival always came first. The council signed the treaty. One by one, the most powerful rulers in the galaxy bent their heads and swore they would never provoke Earth again. Some did it with anger, some with fear, but all of them did it, because no one wanted to wake the Black Fleet again. As the last signature was given, the humans finally spoke one more sentence to the galaxy. "We asked for peace before," they said softly. "You gave us war. This time, you will not get another chance." Then they left. No celebration, no threats, just silence. That night, across 1,000 worlds, people looked at the stars differently. Some saw beauty, some saw mystery, but most saw the black ships moving like shadows among the constellations. Silent, endless, and everyone understood the same thing. The galaxy no longer belonged to the council. It belonged to Earth, or maybe to the things Earth had found.